Welcome to Wealth Strategies Unleashed with Concenture Wealth Management. I'm Robert Gilliland, and this is our podcast. And with me, I have
Karen Hyder
and Mike Alexander.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We're really happy to be doing these podcasts. And as we go, what we thought we would talk about today is really, so you're going through and investing, and we have a lot of conversations like this around what should I be doing? What are some things I need to know? And where are we? And so one of the things that we need to talk about today is exactly that, because we have a lot of these conversations. People save money. They've got money in their 401k. They've got it in their savings account. They've got maybe a small portfolio or a portfolio with stocks and bonds. And what sort of things should people be talking about?
Yeah, I think one of the things that people should certainly be talking about as they save for retirement and beyond is, what is it that they really want to do with all of the proceeds that they've worked so hard to save for? What is it that they want to do, whether it's for retirement or for children or to leave a legacy? It's just really making a determination as to what it is that they'd like to accomplish with all of that hard work that they've set aside proceeds for.
I think that's really it, is that a lot of times people feel that they need to invest, they need to save money, right? But they really don't know what that's for. And so, you have your goals for lifestyle, you have your emergency funds, you have these other things. And what it's really, what am I really trying to get to? What does that lifestyle kind of start with, right? And what am I wanting to maintain and do?
Yeah, it's important to know, when you're talking about your lifestyle, it's real important to have a budget and have an idea. Where's your money going? Where are you spending it on? Are you saving everything that you could be? Probably one of the most important things to be doing as you get towards retirement, and really at any stage of life, is to be saving what you can. Live within your means, save what you have available so that you are able to invest and grow your money over time.
Yeah, I think it also, it also helps if you know what the purpose of the money is for. And so I think a lot of times when it comes time to actually invest the money, you can invest it based on what its purpose is. And so you might have something that's much more of a short-term need that you need to fulfill. And so the way that you would invest for that might be significantly different than the way you would invest for something that's maybe 10, 20 years out.
Yeah, and I think what both of y'all are saying is that you got to control the outflows, right? But you also got to kind of understand exactly what this is going to accomplish. Then you can go and determine, do I have enough, not enough, or way more than what I need? Because that kind of frees up your choices inside there, and it all goes through and it starts kind of with that plan. In a lot of situations, people, when they get their job and they go to work, they go and they know that a 401k is something that they need to be putting money into. And so they go and they amass this amount of money into a 401k, and they've gone through and they've done the budgeting, and they realize that there's a surplus going in, and they've got this extra money. In conversations that we have with people, it's about what do you do with that surplus, as well as what do you do with that 401k, because it's not just a put it in there and forget about it, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I think a lot of times when people are going and doing their 401ks, they kind of have them set up as set and forget it. And where's that a mistake?
Well, I mean, I think for a lot of investors, things change. So, if you're 40 years old 20 years ago, and now today you fast forward 20 years and now you're 60, your tolerance for risk might have changed. The proximity of actually reaching retirement age is much closer. And so I think, for most investors, they just have to think about, what does that mean for me? What do I need to be planning for? And it might change the way that they allocate assets. It might change the way that they save and spend. They just need to make sure they're paying attention to to anything that may have changed over the last couple of decades.
One thing that I think we should talk about is that a lot of times people look at these funds in buckets, right? So they may have this 401k that's almost kind of a set and forget. The money just goes in there and they don't really pay attention to it, much to your point. They may end up taking more risk than what they need. Then they have this other bucket that maybe they work with a wealth management firm or something like that, and they view them as separate buckets. let's talk a little bit about where the fallacy in that is, that having your 401k over here managed one way and maybe something that you're working with the wealth manager or a financial advisor.
Well, yeah, that all goes back to being able to making sure that you're fully diversified across everything you're doing. If you've got a 401k and when you first started your job, you set it up in a specific number of funds and you don't really do much looking at it, you may be working with an advisor or managing a couple outside accounts on your own and have a lot of overlap between what you're doing and basically taking on the same amount of risk, and your accounts are moving in the same direction based on what you've got. So you want to make sure that your 401k is managed alongside of everything else you're doing, whether it's a taxable account or another retirement account, to make sure that you're spreading out your risk, you're in different places of the market, and you're taking advantage of all the opportunities that you can, looking at everything together.
Yeah, you want all of the pieces to really be complementary of one another. And that's not only from an investment and an allocation standpoint, but also, when you think about things like taxes and tax deferral that's associated with retirement accounts. And so it's really just making sure that everything is working well together to achieve the outcome that you're looking for.
Yeah, what's funny is that we've had a lot of clients that ask us to review the 401k, and we go and we say, here's how we would allocate this, right? And then nothing happens. And the next time that we get together, we review, say, hey, did we do this? And, oh yeah, I haven't had a chance. Well, things have maybe changed. Now, you don't want to go and make a whole bunch of changes. They're not meant to. 401ks and long-term assets are not meant for day trading, right? But to have that ability to be able to help clients actually manage that's pretty important, and luckily a tool that we have. A lot of times, people, as they're going through and amassing wealth, they have this bucket of money that's over here that they're not reviewing and not paying attention to, and not pulling all the pieces together and kind of forgetting about it. Not having a 401k, the other part of that, right, is some things that people should think about are, should you be contributing to the Roth component of your 401k, right? Mm-hmm. If you've amassed this wealth, let's talk a little bit about what exactly that Roth component is, because some people may not be familiar with that.
I mean, look, the benefits of utilizing a Roth is that I think a lot of times people will forget this, that when you put money into a Roth, a lot of times you're putting in after-tax money. This money typically will grow tax deferred. But the benefit of the Roth, obviously, is that it comes out tax-free upon retirement. And so it can actually be utilized with with your standard 401k, can be used with a standard IRA as well. But I think the two actually can be very complementary of one another, where you have some proceeds that are coming out of a qualified account that are taxable, and then you have some that are actually coming out tax-free. So the two can actually be utilized in conjunction with one another to help satisfy your retirement needs.
Right. A lot of conversations that we've had have been exactly around that. People have amassed wealth. They realize that at 73 or in 2033 at 75, they're going to have to take money out of that 401k, and it may be more than what they need, and they want to minimize that tax burden, because if we're honest, taxes are going to, in all likelihood, going to go up. There just probably isn't much of a choice there, right? And so what you're doing with a Roth 401k contribution is you're paying the taxes today, and that money's going into that account, and it's growing. And when it grows, then when you go to take that money out, there are no taxes that are owed on it, right? You pay no more taxes, so you get this tax-free income to be able to manage your tax bracket in retirement. And that makes a lot of sense for us for people to have that conversation, whether it's with regard to a 401k or even looking at how all of those assets all come together.
Yeah, for sure, we're not running across too many clients that want to pay more in taxes. So, to the degree that they can pay less over a period of time, I think that certainly serves them well.
When you go and you look at what are some of the things that people have kind of come through and amass this wealth, it all starts with that plan, right? And specifically around retirement, people a lot of times look at retirement as a date. right? That I turned this age, that's when I'm retiring. And that can end up being a mistake. And so as you are building this wealth and amassing this, having a conversation about what you're going to do and what this wealth means and what it's meant to do as a tool becomes really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of things that go into making decisions like that. Sometimes, maybe it is an age, but maybe it's a life event. That certainly happens when you see a separation from a company, which may or may not happen prematurely. But there are things like health that play a critical role as well. And so there's just a lot of different moving parts. And I think the thought process behind it is just to constantly be monitoring that, just to see what's changing. For some people, maybe it's just a number. Hey, when I get to this number, that's going to be enough. I think what we could all say, and I think we would all agree with this, is that a couple of years ago when interest rates were at zero, your ability to generate income without taking on risk was extraordinarily difficult. You fast forward to today, and there's actually return that's out there just simply because interest rates are higher. So for a lot of people, that may have changed the way that they're thinking about retirement. It might have changed the date for them. So
when you've come through and you've amassed this wealth, and we've had a lot of conversations with people here recently around, they're like, hey, I have $1 million in my 401k. I've got $500,000 over here. What should I be doing? How do you respond to that?
Well, I think the first thing to do is to really take some financial inventory and see where you are. Have a good understanding of what your risk tolerance is, have a good understanding of where you want to be, and kind of map that out over the next several years, just so that you can make sure that that you're on pace. And certainly that's something that we have the ability to do, is to take a look at all of those things holistically and make sure that somebody is on pace to accomplish what they're looking to do.
Karen, how do you?
I think when people think about the amount of wealth that they've amassed, there's an old saying in our business that the average person spends more time planning a 2-week vacation than they do planning for retirement. And the reality is I don't think there's any of us that want to plan our clients' vacation, but we're certainly happy to help them when it comes time to plan for retirement. And so I think when people are kind of spread out, they tend to look at things and say, all right, I've got an account over here, and I've got an account over here, and I've got an account over here. Therefore, I'm diversified. So I'm really diversified in terms of asset location, in terms of where it is, but what is it that I own? And I think when it comes time to manage assets, you really want to be thinking about what is the asset? What do they do? Not what are they, but what are they designed to do? And I think
the why.
The idea is to put all of these pieces of the puzzle together so that you've got a complete picture, and you know exactly where you're going as you move forward. And it's not perfect. There's always going to be things that come up, but at the end of the day, it's to come as close to that completed puzzle as you possibly can, and that's really all it comes down to.
So when you go to think about it, to kind of wrap this all up, the way that it all kind of goes is that it goes and it starts with having a plan, understanding what you have and why you have it, and what the purpose of it is. And in order to be able to maintain that lifestyle, whether it is you are in your 40s and you've amassed this wealth and you're changing jobs, what do I do? Having that plan in place and why you have it, and you're understanding what your choices are so that you can go and hit your goals. That's what's most important, right?
Absolutely.
Well, Thank you guys for another robust conversation. I hope that you all enjoyed this. Please remember to like and subscribe. And by the way, also share this with some friends. Send this to someone who you know who might be interested in something like this. It's a great way for us to reach more people, to help more people get to where they need to go. And with that, thanks. All right, so let's take care of some legal stuff. As a representative of Sanctuary Securities, Inc., and an investment advisory representative of Sanctuary Security Advisors, LLC Securities, offered through Sanctuary Securities, member FINRA and SPIC, advisory services offered through Sanctuary Advisors, LLC, an investment registered investment advisor. Concenture Wealth Management is a DBA of Sanctuary Securities and Sanctuary Advisors, LLC.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended as an offer or solicitation with respect to the purchase or sale of any security. The content is developed from sources believed to be accurate. No warranty, express or implied, is made regarding the accuracy, adequacy, completeness, legality, reliability, or usefulness of any information.
Opinions expressed are subject to change without notice and are not intended as investment advice or to predict future performance. The views expressed herein are not necessarily representative of Sanctuary Securities, Inc. or Sanctuary Advisors, LLC, and should not be interpreted as investment advice.
Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. No investment strategy can guarantee a profit against loss in periods of declining values. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Any investment discussed may not be suitable for all investors. Investors must take their own decisions based on their specific investment objectives and financial circumstances. Consult your financial professional before making any investment decision.
No part of this communication is intended to be construed as tax or legal advice. Please discuss your specific situation with a qualified tax or legal professional.